Hello. For this example, we're looking at BMI, body mass index, and it can be calculated using the following formula, where height is in pounds and, height is in inches and weight is in pounds. So we're given a formula to work with, and we're told to write a formula in function notation for the BMI of someone who is 63 inches tall. So that 63 inches is going to go into the formula for their height, and then we are going to have a remaining variable of weight. So that means our formula will be for BMI based on the one variable of weight. So that is our input, equals 703, parenthesis, weight is unknown, but we're standardizing their height to be 63, 5 foot 3 inches. That does have a squared. And so this is the formula we're working with. Now, it tells us a healthy BMI is from 18.5 to 24.9. What is the healthy weight range for someone who is 63 inches tall? So I'm looking at this problem as telling me that these are BMI numbers, so they would go into my formula here for the BMI. And it is asking me for weight, so that means I'm trying to solve for this variable W. All right. So I know that 18.5 is the low end. So I'm going to put 18.5 as this BMI of W. I'm not going to put equal though, but leave a little space there. I'll come back to that in a moment. 703, parenthesis, W over 63 squared. Now, for this person, their weight, this weight, is going to need to be above this. This is the very lowest end. So this number is the lowest possible. So their weight over here has to be greater than or equal to this. And so what we have here is not an equal to, because we don't want to know just the weight where they're equaling this, but we want to know any weight where their BMI will be in this entire range. So now the second half. Again, the 24.9 is a BMI, so I'm putting that into my formula where the BMI was. I'm going to leave a blank for my symbol. I have the 703, parenthesis, W over 63 squared. Now this time, this 24.9 is the largest possible one, so their weight over here is going to have to be less than or equal to that. So weight is on the less than side. Now what we're going to do is graph this all on our graphing calculator to come up with a range of values of healthy weights, because it asks us for a weight range. I'm going to use the crossing graphs method. And I actually have three things to type in. So I have this first one here, which I'm going to make Y1. I have my formula, which I'm going to make Y2. My formula is literally repeated, so I don't have to type it twice. And then I have this value right here, which I'm going to make Y3. All right, so going to my graphing calculator, I'm going to go into my Y equals. I'm going to clear out what I've previously done. So my first value that I wanted in my calculator was the 18.5. That was the smallest healthy BMI. Arrowing down, the second thing I wanted in my calculator was the formula. So 703, parenthesis. I had my variable W, which my calculator will use X, divided by 63 squared. And then I arrow down. The third thing that I had in my calculator was the upper range, so the 24.9. All right, so X represents weight, and this is the weight of someone who is 5 foot 3. So I'm going to go into my window. Someone who is 5 foot 3, and we're looking at healthy weights, I'm going to guess that like 90 pounds would be the minimum. I don't really know, but it seems like less than 90 pounds would be a little too thin. And I'm going to guess that like 200 pounds is probably the maximum. And again, that seems like 5'3" is pretty short, so 200 seems like that's probably a little high, but that's okay. The Y values are the BMIs. The BMIs we know go from 18.5 to 24.9. I would like to see a little bit more than that, so I'm going to go from 10 to 30 so that I'm a little above and a little below those numbers we wanted. So now I'll hit graph. So there's my 18.5, there's my BMI line, and there's my 24.9. So this is my 18.5, 24.9, and this is that line for the BMI. So any BMI, any weight represented in between these two lines is going to be a healthy weight. And so we see 90 where we started here is not healthy, 200 where we ended, not healthy, but in between here. So I can find these points where that range starts and stops by using the intersect command. So I'll use second and trace to get to the calculate menu. Option 5 is the intersect command, and this time instead of arrowing, I'm just going to type 5. Again, it's asking me my curve, so is this the first curve? Yes, it is. Is this red line the second one? Yes, it is. And my guess, that's not even close to where the answer is. This blue and red intersect down here a bit. And when they intersect, that X value, which is the weight, is going to give us that minimum healthy weight. So my guess is it's right around 102. I hit enter. And it's actually, if I round off, 104.5. So going back to my PowerPoint, this minimum weight is 104.5. That is the smallest weight. So that is less than or equal to the ideal weight, which will then be less than or equal to, we want to find that upper value as well. So back to my graphing calculator. So I want to go through the same process, but it's really important how I answer the questions so that I get the values that I truly want. So I go second and trace to get to that menu for calculations. I want to calculate the intersection. This time when it asks me, is this your first curve, and it's showing me the 18.5, that is not one of the ones that I want to use. So using my arrow key, I arrow down. Now it's asking, is this the first curve you want to use? And yes, it is, because that is my formula. So I hit enter. And now it shows me, is this the second curve you want to use? And the answer is yes, because that is that upper limit. So enter. Now it asks me to guess, and so I have to move my cursor over here to where the black and red lines intersect. And that looks like it's close, so we're guessing that the maximum weight is close to this 137. We hit enter. And we find it's actually 140.6. So going back to my question, my maximum healthy weight for this individual is 140.6. So I have solved an inequality by graphing. I know that the healthy weight is anywhere from 104.5 up to 140.6. And so for somebody to have a healthy BMI, if their height is 5'3", 63 inches.